Hey guys, welcome back to Mika Reacting Reviews. We're reacting to things on the internet. Same day, same shirt, different video. I actually don't know if I'm going to put this on this channel or my Speak Freely channel. So if this is on my Speak Freely channel, welcome to Speak Freely, where we celebrate the freedom of speech. I'm not sure yet. I haven't made up my mind. But anyway, we're going to be reacting to another sort of street interview by the YouTuber that we did the reaction video to, the BLM, Do You Trust BLM video. That is on my Speak Freely channel, or that's on this channel, depending what channel I uploaded this onto. If you are on my Speak Freely channel, go subscribe to my Speak Freely channel, and if you're on my Speak Freely channel, go subscribe to my Mika Reacts and Reviews channel, and my travel channel. Don't forget about that one. So today he's going to be doing a video asking questions about defunding the police, whether it was a good idea or a bad idea. So we're right into it, but before you do, if you like these type of videos, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell to get notifications when I do upload. All that really does help with the algorithm, guys. And if you'd like to support this channel even further, you can donate. My PayPal, my link is in the description box below and also in the comment section. Of course, it helps. If you don't have to, you can just like, comment, subscribe. And another great way to support this channel is either join my brand new membership program, different levels, different tiers, different perks, or you can visit my brand new merch shop. Links down below, and links to all the internet platforms, my socials, and all the ways to support me and do business is always in the links down below. Other than that, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Alright, here you go.
We're at retraining, which costs money, by the way,
Yeah,
and then we're at abolishing completely.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a realistic expectation?
Of course not.
It doesn't mean take away money from the police.
Well, they did take money away from the police in many cities, including LA.
That's what you're saying. That's not what I'm thinking happened. So,
What's going on, everyone? James Klug here. With violent crime skyrocketing, was defunding the police a bad idea? Today we're in Los Angeles and we're gonna find out. Let's go talk to some people. Defunding the police a bad idea?
No, because defunding the police was not a bad idea, because it shone a spotlight on the injustices and made others, us and them themselves, aware of what needed to change. Because sometimes people will not make a change unless something is being threatened to be taken away from them. So I don't think it was a bad idea.
Great question. Depending on who you're asking and who knows the facts and who doesn't. So
Tell us the facts.
the facts are, we don't know them.
I feel like the movement wasn't really a bad idea, but I do agree with adding an element to the police, to add like a psychological level, to a different type of segment or like a segue to help more people.
Would that require money?
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would.
You think so?
Yeah.
And why do you think so?
I think the crime has gotten worse. People are not going to jail. They're not like they're getting like no bail. So they're not learning from like what they do wrong.
Okay, so at least that woman was being honest, saying like, look, I don't know the facts, so I guess it really depends who you ask. She was being honest. She was being way more honest and transparent than most people we ask these questions to, like the first guy, who he was like, well, yeah, that's what you say, but that's not what I think. And I appreciate someone not bending on their belief system just because some random person on the street says these are the facts. But I think the appropriate answer is always usually like either A, these are my facts and here they are, this is how I debate you or dispute what you're saying, or B, hey, I'm not educated about that, I'm not aware of that, let me go home, do my research, and if you're right, then I might reevaluate how I feel about it, but not just like, well, I don't know, that's not what I think. That might be the facts, but I don't think that way, so therefore it's not true. And it's true, crime has skyrocketed in many states, but especially ones who defunded the police, especially Seattle. Like, it's fucking trash now. It's definitely a shithole state these days. And I kind of understand what that one lady was saying about like, hey, they got, if you won't change unless you get like a shakeup, like a threat of like this will be taken away from you if you do not change. But that's not what happened though. It wasn't like, hey guys, we give you this set amount of times to make some changes and to reform and do some things differently, and if you do not make those changes, then we would think about defunding or decreasing your funding. That's not what happened. So they didn't get a scare. It just happened. It just happened. Anyway, I would talk more about how I think about defunding the police later on in the video, but let's continue.
We need to see the paperwork in defunding the police and understand what they're defunding and who they're giving it to when they defund.
defunding the police, that just means retraining. It doesn't mean take away money from the police.
Well, they did take money away from the police in many cities, including LA.
That's what you're saying. That's not what I'm thinking happened. So.
The fact that it created a spotlight was more important than anything else. Is that correct? Am I getting this right?
Yes.
LAPD, They were just approved refunding of $213 million after being defunded $150. Would you be okay with that? Because the spotlight was still.
Well, I personally am not from LA. I'm from Cincinnati, but I know that
I don't have stats on that.
But I come here from Nashville. But I think that defunding across the board people are getting paid for they ain't even doing.
In Los Angeles,
Yeah.
armed robberies have increased by over 21%. We're at a 15-year high in homicides, 14-year high of shootings. And actually, they just approved increasing the LAPD's budget by $213 million after they defunded the LAPD by $150 million in 2020. So obviously, someone along the lines realized maybe having more money or not taking away money from the LAPD was a good idea. So you definitely agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do. I think that they shouldn't have defunded them. I think we need more police on the streets.
And you live in LA?
Yeah, I live in Hollywood. I do think that it's a good idea to get them on the streets and give them more money. So, they can do their job. That's what we need them for.
Stop it there. Okay, that one woman who admitted that she didn't know all the facts and stuff like that, I like her. She's based. I like what she said about we need to see the paper trail. Where is this money going? You defunding him. Where's all that millions of dollars that you saved from giving it to the police? Where did it go? What programs did it go to? Did I see any change? I need to see the paper trail. I need to see the paperwork, because most likely any of that money that they took away from the cops probably just went into corrupt politicians' pockets for the most part, because we know that's usually how it works. They pretend they care about a cause, but then they sneakily just line their pockets with that cause. I do agree with that other woman who said she likes the fact that it was defunded because it put a spotlight on the situation when it comes to the police force. I do understand what she said when she said some of that money is going to something that's not even being done. And so I agree with her that there's a lot of funds that are being allocated that do go to waste and it's not being appropriately allocated, and people aren't making sure that the right thing with that money is being done. So I agree with her on that one. And back what that guy was saying, it's people aren't getting bail, crime is going up, no one's learning their lessons. We've seen, and he lives in LA, so he knows. He lives in Hollywood. People think Hollywood is this shiny little street with streets the stars in the road and celebrities walking in. No, Hollywood is a fucking dumpster fire. Hollywood is, the crime is already high before the defunding the police even happened. There's a bunch of homeless people, no hate to homeless people, prostitute, drug addicts, pimps. There's a lot of crime going on. It's a shithole. It's not a safe street you want to be walking down at night. There's maybe 2 blocks where the Kodak Theater is and stuff like that. That's kind of clean and nice, but for the most part, living in Hollywood does not mean you're living in a lapse of luxury. Trust me. But we've all seen those viral videos of people just running into stores in LA and literally cleaning out entire shelves and getting away with it. They're not getting arrested, or they're just being catch and release, basically.
Yet another brazen shoplifting in California, where critics say a law that reduced penalties on theft have emboldened the bad guys, leaving store owners feeling it's not worth the risk to try to stop them. Check out the scene at a TJ Maxx, where some people just seem to help themselves to whatever they wanted.
Brazen shoplifters stroll out of a store carrying a giant bag apparently stuffed with stolen items, and they sure don't seem worried about getting into trouble. The first guy doesn't even wear a mask as he walks away with jeans still on the hangers. The second thief looks right into the camera as he casually leaves. Just look at the size of that bag. A customer follows the suspects out of the Los Angeles TJ Maxx store and posted the video on Instagram.
What's up, guys? I want to see how far you guys get.
The thieves got away.
They have no care in the world. They strolled out. They knew that they weren't going to get arrested.
The police sergeant says criminals are now emboldened because a recent law makes shoplifting less than $950 worth of goods a misdemeanor, not a felony.
These criminals, they go into the store, they probably have their calculator. Oh, I'll steal $850 worth of merchandise and nothing's going to happen to me. It is totally insane.
Shoplifting crimes like the one at this TJ Maxx are now a full-fledged epidemic, with 75% of retailers reporting an increase in organized thefts. Recently in San Francisco, thieves were caught on camera fleeing the high-end Neiman Marcus department store, their arms loaded with expensive designer handbags. Also in the Bay Area, stunned customers watch as a shoplifter stuffs a plastic bag filled with merchandise from a Walgreens drugstore. When the security guard tries to grab the bag, the thief escapes on his bike. At this Best Buy store in Houston, an employee grabs at a suspect's backpack that he says is loaded with stolen items. A tug of war ensues, past the doors, then outside.
I recognized the customer. He would go in every 3 to 5 days, grab a backpack off the shelf, fill it with video game consoles, and he would just walk out the door.
The Best Buy employee manages to wrestle away the bag. So was he treated as a hero? Nope, he says he was not. He tells Ann Mercogliano he was fired.
Which is basically going to make people lose their jobs because the stores are going to have to recoup on that losses, meaning they're not going to be able to pay as many employees, meaning people are going to lose their jobs. So fuck you. Anyway, let's continue.
What we need them for?
They just refunded $213 million because of the because of the spike in homicides and shootings. Do you think that's a good idea or no?
I do not think that's a good idea.
So you say good.
I didn't
You
know
say
money was taken away. Yeah, keep the money to train the police and to keep us safe. Yeah.
And you were unaware. Just to clarify, you were unaware that they did take money away.
I was unaware. I just moved down here.
Do you think it was a good idea to add more funding to the LAPD or no?
That's a real tough, difficult. I would have to know more.
The whole system is just it's just set up against. I'm gonna speak for my people. It's just so set up against black people that it's just, if you're part of the system, you're part of the problem, and the system is the problem. So if there's no system, then there's no problem.
So by that same logic, you would advocate for getting rid of the police department, correct?
I would, yeah.
You think that would really help, though?
Yeah, I would. Well, I mean,
what do you do when people are people are shooting people or homicides?
We're so deep into it now. It is what it is. I feel like at this point.
Getting rid of the police force is going to solve murders, rapes, sexual assaults, muggings, break-ins, the homicide rate that's skyrocketing, child abuse, carjackings, people burning buildings down. Like that, getting rid of the police is going to solve all that. Just magically with a snap of a finger. That's just going to go away. That's going to just poof into imaginary utopia. Okay, sure. Black person who's obviously falling for the emotional manipulation propaganda that has been spewed onto mainstream media, that having the police force just hurts black people, it only targets black people. White people can just do whatever they want, skip through the streets, shooting guns in the air, running red lights, and nothing ever happens to them. Yeah. Okay, sure. I was confused with the other lady who said that she thought giving money back to the police station was a bad idea. Maybe she means without like any overhead of what's happening with the money, but yeah, I don't know about that one. That's weird. But anyway, let's continue.
I have a lot of people out here that need the help versus just packing up a bunch of gear for the, maybe they can recycle some of their stuff, learn how to recycle, reuse. Instead of giving it to other people, give it to us, you know what I mean? Instead of spreading so much money where the crime might be committed, let's spread the money so the crime won't be committed.
Allocating. Do we need more community resources, right?
Yes.
And I think those are all valid questions. And for me, I think the question is just really breaks it down to, do we take away money from public safety to put money into public resources?
But who are they? But are they saving people, or are they part of the problem? Are they creating more of the problem?
Officers?
Yes.
If there is a reason for the money and the fund, it's okay, but they need to be updated. The helicopters up there is a cost for it. 2-3 more helicopters. I mean, crimes are more now. 2 days ago, I was in Beverly Hills, just smashed a jewelry shop.
Okay, I don't know where that guy was going with like crime is normal. Like, was he saying like big whoop, people die, they get shot in the face, it happens? Or if he was just saying like, yeah, crime is normal, so we need cops. I don't know exactly where he was going with that. I understand the reallocating, I understand what she was saying. It's like, hey, if we put more programs to preventing the crimes, there'll be less crimes committed. I do understand that, but you can do two things at once. You can walk and talk and chew gum all at the same time. So we can allocate more funds to the police for obvious reasons, but I'll get into later. And we can also do crime prevention programs and stuff like that. And that can be done in many different ways, in many different facets of life. One of them is promoting two-parent home systems with, the steady foundation of raising children. But let's not talk about that. Anyway, let's get back into it.
So we're at retraining, which costs money, by the way, and we're at abolishing completely.
Yeah.
You think that's a realistic expectation?
Of course not. But that's what I believe in.
So if someone kicked down your door, robbing your house, you would just call nobody.
I wouldn't call anybody.
You would fight them.
I wouldn't call anybody.
When it comes to the Black Lives Matter movement, obviously a lot of folks in LA supported Black Lives Matter. A big part of the Black Lives Matter movement was defunding the police. Right. That was a big message. That was, if not the primary message of the Black Lives Matter movement, or one of them at least.
Right.
Did you support the Black Lives Matter movement?
I do support the Black Lives Matter movement, but I also agree on, how can I say this? I think that people, if you do something wrong, you should go to jail, if that's what it's for. I support it to where as though...
So you support law and order.
Right. I support both. So I do support Black Lives Matter, but I don't also believe in everything that they believe in, because I do think some of it is just ridiculous.
We talked to someone that was saying abolish the police department. How do you think that would affect the community?
Greatly. What are we gonna do for our safety, right?
Scream.
Right.
Was defunding the police a bad idea?
Yes.
You don't know?
I said I don't care. I'm a graffiti artist, so I'd be out here live, you know what I mean?
For sure. Is that an illegal activity?
Yes.
So you think it was a bad idea?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Same.
You agree with
Common sense, yeah. If you're going to defund the police, it's going to be crime. People are not going to be afraid to do their crime. They ain't going to have to do no time.
This guy, I can graffiti. I don't care if people can get murdered and get away with it, as long as I can spray shit on a fucking wall, because I'm Picasso, obviously, and people need to see my fucking art. And that one guy talking about he wouldn't do anything or call anyone if someone kicked down his door and put a gun to his face or robbed him or whatever he was saying. That's obviously cap. I'm pretty sure he looks like the type of guy that would scream like a girl if that was to ever happen. He would scream, run like a girl, scream like a girl, run into his mama. He looks like that type of guy. He looks like the type of kid who had constantly runny nose, like those baby kids. All right, let's get back into it.
You don't really care, just as long as you can graffiti stuff.
As long as I could do illegal.
What's going on, Julio? How you doing?
Oh, I'm just vibing and surviving.
Good to see you, man.
Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles, we have Julio Rosas in Los Angeles. Julio, was defunding the police a bad idea? Yes or no? Tell me.
Yeah. It was a pretty idea.
For one instance, yes, it's bad, because for the most part, I stand with both sides of the whole we need to defund the police, but not too much. I feel like it's not so much defunding them, it's more trying to make sure they're actually well trained.
We're getting a lot of that when it comes to people saying, okay, hey, they're almost in so many words saying more funding for better training.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Us defunding the police isn't going to do anything. It's not going to fix the issue. If anything, it might make it worse, because at this point, say we just decide to pay them less money because it's so much trouble and problems, it's going to cause so much more issues, because police officers would stop working possibly, because they'd be like, oh, we're not getting paid this much, and we're literally putting our lives on the lines in certain situations.
For sure. There's communities that are incredibly dangerous to police, yeah.
So I honestly think it shouldn't be defunding the police. I think it should be more we need to train them properly more.
Yeah. What made them want to defund the police?
Right. So the defund the police movement was actually largely pushed by the Black Lives Matter movement. That was a big message on the BLM movement, was defund the police. Black Lives Matter Los Angeles chapter was calling for a 90% reduction in the LAPD's budget. Did you guys support BLM?
I mean, we're black. Yes.
You have to. There's black people that don't support BLM.
Oh.
Yeah.
They have a different social agenda, I feel like, that is they keep under wraps, and it's more for the money and not so much for Black Lives Matter.
Okay, so the one girl in the middle was obviously the smartest of the friend group. She said it perfectly. I hate when people are like, well, I'm black, so I should just be for whatever movement that I did absolutely no research into whatsoever. So yeah, she basically said that it's nefarious. They put up a title, they put up a label so people can argue against it, but they're obviously not for black lives. They're obviously not for black communities. They're not obviously for building up black families, anything black. They're not for any of those things. They're obviously for their own agenda, whatever that is, breaking down the family structure, Marxism, supposedly because they're not acting very Marxist, $6 million mansion, or just lining their own pockets, giving money to other politicians to get them into office, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm glad there was at least one person in that friend group that kind of pays attention. And I agree with the whole, again, reallocating money to more training, better cops, stuff like that. But again, I will talk about that more later in the video because I have a whole fucking spill about it. But anyway, let's continue.
Not so much for Black Lives Matter.
Well, you gotta look at just the crime rates across the country, right? I mean, and we have, it even goes beyond defunding the police. It goes to the prosecutions and the progressive DAs that literally let just very dangerous people go free, who then go out and commit more crimes. And so it's just like this vicious cycle that we're caught in because it's all being done underneath this veneer of social justice, and you can't question it or else you're racist. And it's like, well, there's a lot of people out here that are committing crimes and probably shouldn't just be given little bail or no bail or anything like that.
Money can't be raised to put towards that, you know what I'm saying? I feel like there's so much money to go around that you shouldn't have to cut funds from the police department. Also, like the police department should maybe work on their academy, because obviously there were wrongs doing in the police system. So yeah, that's
maybe more training or something like that.
Yeah, maybe we should fund the police a little bit more so that they can train them a little bit better.
Yeah.
When it comes to the communities that are affected the most too, it's very clearly minority communities that are affected the most by under-policing, etc.
The minorities want the police. They might want them better trained, which, okay, we can take a look at that, and that's never a bad thing. But you're right, the people who suffer the most, it's not the ritzy-ditzy liberals that...
They're going to get on the phone and make sure that there's police patrolling their neighborhoods. The ritzy-ditsies.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a new word or anything.
We just made it up right now. All right, you guys, it's getting a little bit...
All right, guys, that was the end of the video. Yeah, I agree with that guy. I love when, the enchilants of society, the celebrities, the politicians, the 1%, the upper middle class, the rich fuckers, who love to tell the rest of society how they should live when it has actually no effect on them whatsoever. Because they can hide behind their electric fences, they can hide behind their walls, they can walk around with their own private security detail, while just the rest of us loathsome, working class, poverty-stricken citizens have to just fend for ourselves. I think defunding the police is a terrible fucking idea, but I do agree that the police structure, academy, whatever, needs to be reformed. I think it needs to be so much more money pumped into the police system, or however you frame it or call it. I don't know how to say, like, police system, academy, institution, whatever, because the training needs to be so much polished, so much more elevated than it is now. There needs to be so much better training, and I am not talking about fucking sensitivity courses. The fact of the matter is, there was states and cities that actually literally defunded the police, not metaphorically like some people for some reason think, because when the mainstream media realized that it's a terrible idea, they tried to walk back and say, no, we didn't actually mean the definition of defunding, we mean sort of this metaphorical, we need to do better program. So there were places who defunded the police, the crime rate went up, the crime rate is going up everywhere, but any places who didn't defund the police, they dehumanized police officers so badly that a lot of them just fucking quit, especially the ones that were well-trained and seasoned police officers left, because I'll be damned if I put my life on the line for you and all you do is spit in my mother effing face. Right? So a lot of them quit, and what was left behind were the rookies, were the less experienced police officers who have less training and less experience on the job. And because police officers has been so extremely demonized, they're actually having a harder time finding people who want to be police officers. So they're hiring them younger and younger, in my opinion, probably scraping at the bottom of the barrel, just trying to get people to want to be police officers. And you want them to be police officers at a lower pay, and at the same time having society collectively spit on them in disrespect because of the actions of the minority, because of the actions of the few, some bad police officers, some bad apples. making that define the entirety, the majority of police officers who are just trying to do their job. So I agree. I think more funding need to be put back into the police institution. I think there needs to be way more training, and I think there needs to be a lot more stricter hiring practices, but that's really hard to do when you dehumanize or demonize the idea so much of being a police officer that it's already hard to find people to want to be or take the job. Like that one black gentleman who said, if you are a part of the system, you are part of the problem. A lot of people think that if you're going to put police officers in communities that are mostly black or mostly Hispanic, that you should have those police officers resemble the community. So more black police officers and more black communities. But when a black person becomes a police officer, guess what they're called? They're called a race traitor. So why would a black young kid want to grow up to be a race traitor? So anyway, nevertheless, we should make hiring practices way more harder. We should be more vigilant when it comes to our hiring practices and who are allowed to be police officers. I think there should be an age limit or something. I remember hearing this girl, she was like 19, talking about she was in the police academy and that she was literally about to start working as a police officer, and I knew this person, and the idea of her having that level of authority in a firearm scares the fuck out of me. But hey, they can be soldiers, so why not? But in my opinion, there should be some sort of age like limit or something, not limit, but like some sort of age you have to be a police officer, some sort of maturity or life experience. Maybe you are in the police academy for a longer period of time. The other thing I definitely think needs to happen is there need to be a uniformed annual or semi-annual psychological evaluation on police officers that is not attached to the police station or the police institution whatsoever, an outside source, so they can be unbiased and objective to the police officers they're doing the psychological evaluation on, for a couple of different reasons. And again, I'm not talking about sensitivity courses, because of, you know, if a soldier can experience PTSD, why can't a police officer experience PTSD, and why can that PTSD be triggered while they're on the job? I think those things need to be sourced out annually or semi-annually. Also, I think I already did a video on this channel. If I can find a link to it or whatever, I'll put it here or in the comment section, where people who have sociopathic or psychopathic tendencies tend to go for certain type of jobs of authority, meaning police officer, CEOs, politicians, celebrities of the sort, right? I think there need to be psychological testing to weed out those people, or people with those tendencies, or people that seem like they can fall into those tendencies. We need to weed out people who already have built-in biases and prejudices. And again, I'm not talking about sensitivity courses. I think there need to be uniformed semi or annual psychological testing throughout their entire careers that is not attached to the police station whatsoever. I think there needs to be a update on weapons and uniforms and vests and other equipment that can de-escalate situations, like stun guns and body cams and other forms of de-escalation weapons, so they don't always have to use their gun. I'm not totally against the idea of having more people that have like expertise in mental health issues, people who simply have an expertise on how to de-escalate situations, how to talk people off the ledge, counselors, therapists, doctors, whatever you want to call them. But it doesn't mean they replace the actual police officer. That means they can be a tag along if that is appropriate. Sometimes more people in a way just makes the situation worse, but there needs to be a lot of changes. I definitely agree with that, but what comes with that is more fucking money, more funding. By the way, the majority of people who they say they were trying to protect when it comes to defunding the police, which is the black community, majority of the black community say that it's a stupid fucking idea. So okay, yes, and of course in the communities that you say they're trying to protect are going to be the most harmed by this, because the people that are most vulnerable are the people that are most vulnerable to crime. So you take their protection away, the more crime. But anyway, guys, guys, this video is longer than it should be. I'm going to go now. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell to get notification when I do upload. All of that really does help with the algorithm, guys. And if you'd like to support the channel even further, you can donate. My PayPal link is in the description box below and also in the comment section. Of course, it helps, but you don't have to. You can just like, comment, and subscribe. Another great way to support this channel is either join my brand new membership program, different levels, different tiers, different perks, or you can visit my brand new merch shop. Links down below. I also have a second travel vlog channel. I travel as a lifestyle or I live abroad. If you'd like to know where I am in the world, you can go in the description box below and also in the comment section. Click on the link, go subscribe to my travel vlog channel and or follow me on my travel Instagram. My stories is usually what's most up to date. And you guys have an amazing day. Bye.